Hi everyone, for Number Corner today, you'll need your Number Corner book, the thin purple book, and a pencil. So please go grab those things if you do not have them. Once you have your Number Corner book out in front of you, you're going to turn to page 10. And page 10, it's titled Megan's Marbles. We're going to go through this story problem and figure out the best way to solve it. Here we go. Megan is starting a marble collection. She has 14 marbles. Her friend Patrick has been collecting marbles for a long time. If Patrick has 9 times as many marbles as Megan, how many marbles does Patrick have? When we're problem solving, it's important for us to know exactly what the problem is asking us to do. So for A, we need to make sure we write down the question that they are asking us. So, at the very end of this question, it says, how many marbles does Patrick have? That's what the problem is asking us to figure out. So I'm going to write this right here, and you should write it in your Number Corner book as well. How many marbles does Patrick have? Perfect. Now for B, it says, underline any information in the problem that will help you find the answer. So we need to find the answer to this question. How many marbles does Patrick have? In order to do that, it'd be super helpful if we knew how many marbles that Megan has, and if we knew a little something about what Patrick has. So let's underline that information. We see that Megan has 14 marbles, and we also know that Patrick has 9 times as many marbles as Megan. So you should underline that in your Number Corner book as well. Now let's go down to C. C says write an equation for the problem. Use a letter to stand for the unknown quantity. Quantity is the same thing as a number. And the unknown quantity is how many marbles that Patrick has. We don't know that yet. That's the thing that we need to figure out. So it says use a letter to stand for that. I'm going to use M because it stands for marbles. Okay? Now, this problem, it says that Megan has 14 marbles and Patrick has 9 times as many. That keyword times as many tells us that it's multiplication. So we're going to set it up like this, 14 times 9. But if I just say 14 times 9, that's an expression. That's not an equation. In order to make an equation, you need to make sure you have that equal sign, because an equation is comparing 2 different things. So 14 times 9 equals M is our equation, and you should be writing this down too. All right, now let's get into solving this problem. We're going to use this space below to solve our problem, and we're going to show all our work, including numbers, words, or labeled sketches. At the very bottom of the page, we'll write a complete sentence to show the answer. All right, to solve this problem, we're going to use an array model. So what I want you to do is to draw a big rectangle. Let's see if you can make the lines a little straighter than mine. And we're going to set up our problem. So in an array model, each side or each dimension is the value. So we have 14 and 9 here. Okay? And in an array model, our answer would be like the area because we're finding 14 times 9. Well, this is a little hard to solve, but I have a trick for making it a little easier. We're going to turn that 9 into a 10 because I know how to multiply by 10 a lot better than I know how to multiply by 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to our array. There we go. And I'm going to add one more strip of 14. Because when I have these two together, they equal 10. Now if I'm looking at this as 14 times 10, or 10 times 14, Does anyone know how to solve that? We just take that 0 from the 10 and bring it over, and it becomes 140. All right? But that's not our answer because I added on that one strip of 14, I need to take it away now so that I can find the answer to 9 times 14. So I'm going to subtract 1 times 14 because that's the area of this blue shaded area. So 1 times 14 is 14. So I'm going to subtract that from 140. And when I do that, I end up with 9 times 14 again. But this time it's a little bit easier to solve. And I'll have you solve this on your own. 140 minus 14, and that will get you your answer to the red shaded area. All right? Now, once you have that answer, on the lines at the bottom of your page, you're going to write a complete sentence. To write that complete sentence, I can't scroll down on here, so I'm just going to put the box off to the side. To write that sentence, this is how you're going to start it off. You'll say, Patrick has blank marbles. All right, that will be your complete sentence. When you're done with page 10, you can flip over to page 11 for part 2 of Megan's marbles. Number 2, after several weeks of collecting marbles, Megan has 12 times as many marbles as she did when she started. How many marbles does Megan have now? A, what is this problem asking you to figure out? This problem is asking us to figure out how many marbles Megan has now. So we'll write that question here. How many marbles does Megan have now? B, underline any information in the problem that will help you find the answer. Let's take a look. Megan has 12 times as many marbles as she did when she started. Does anyone remember how many she had when she started on the last page? She had 14. So now we know she has 12 times as many as 14. So our equation could be 14 times 12. Are we done here? 14 times 12, is that an equation? Nope, we need that equal sign and we need to use a letter to stand for the unknown quantity. Since our unknown quantity is the number of marbles she has, let's use an M for marbles. All right, now I'm going to set up your array down here. I'm going to give you a little tip. When you are doing a problem that you've already worked on kind of the same thing, we already found out some information about how many marbles that Patrick had. So let's use that information that we already know. So I'm going to set up our array just like we did on the other page. I'm going to set it up 14 times 10 because I already know that answer. 14 times 10 is 140. But we're not done yet because we still have 2 more sets of 14 that we need to add. So I'm going to extend our array by 2. All right? Because when I do that, I will have 12. There we go. Now all we need to figure out is what 14 times 2 is. So I'm going to give you a second to try and figure that out on your own. A way you could set that up is like this. 14 times 2 is the same thing as 14 plus 14. I'll give you a second to figure it out on your own. You should have gotten 28. 28. So we know the area for this section is 28. Now, to get our final answer for 14 times 12, we need to add those two areas together. So our answer will be 140 plus 28. There we go. So once you have that answer, I'll let you solve that on your own. You are all set. Nice job today, 4th grade.